Alright, so, I just got out of the theater from seeing Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Now, obviously, you probably know this already, but I am a huge fan of the Spooky Bear game. If you saw my last video, you'd know. The first movie, while I do like it, it's definitely, from the perspective of a FNAF fan, it's amazing. Like a 9 out of 10, that's what I gave it, from the perspective of a FNAF fan. However, from the perspective of a critic, it really isn't all that. It's like I give it a 5 out of 10. It's all right. However, with this movie is a bit different. Actually, no, it's very different from the first one. It does definitely, obviously follow the same similar story. But obviously, it's more based on FNAF 2 than it is FNAF 1. Duh. But yeah, anyway, here are my thoughts on it. Now, is it similar to the first one in the fact that it's mainly made for the fans and not as much for the critics or the general public? Yes. That is both a positive and a negative. Now, you could take this as, only the fans are going to like it. Yeah, that's okay. These movies are very clearly after this movie, it's very obvious that these movies are made for the fans and not like the general public. Now, again, that's just something that some people would just have to accept, that, you really have to be a FNAF fan to like this movie, which is why it has such a low score right now. Like, right now, last time I checked, it has, like, an 11. Actually, while I'm yapping, I'm going to check now. Hold on. There's a light directly in front of my computer here. As I boot this up, it is, yeah, it's covering part of it, so, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. Look at that. FNAF 2 has a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes critically. However, audience-wise, it has an 88. Add those together, it's at 100. It's a 10 out of 10! Yeah! Okay, in all seriousness, did I like this movie? Yes, I did. Do I think it was better than the original? Yes, I do. Now, obviously, we know that Scott Cawthon, the guy who made FNAF, he is great at, taking, criticism and applying, the negatives that the first project had, and applying, and, like, changing it up in the sequel. That's how FNAF started. So, quick history lesson. Back when the first movie came out, back when, he was still making random video games, he was making this game called Chipper and Sons Lumber Co., and basically, somebody compared the sprites to terrifying animatronics. So he said, you know what, I'll make one more game before I move on to something else, because his games weren't doing very well. And, he made a game called Five Nights at Freddy's about terrifying animatronics, and look where we are now. It has two movies, which is insane. So, you know what, Scott Cawthon, I am very happy that, that happened. So anyway, yes, I do believe this movie is better than the original. Do I think critically it's better than the original, as from, like, a general movie perspective? No, not really, but, okay, walk with me. I feel like, how I combined my score of, of my audience, of my FNAF fan ranking and my critic ranking from a 9 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10, I met in the middle at a 7 out of 10? My pen just turned on. I think that the stuff, that was used in this movie blows the original out of the water for, like, general FNAF fans. Except my friend Dark Crusher, you know his channel, check him out, subscribe to him, he's amazing. He said he liked the original better, which, yeah, I can definitely see why people like the original better, but I think this is definitely an improvement over the original, in my opinion, at least. Let's talk about it. So, obviously, thank God they brought back the old set designer guy, because, oh my gosh, the set designs were perfect. The set designs were perfect. You can definitely tell, like, the pizzeria was really well made. Like, Mike's house, that was really well made. The animatronics, oh, baby, the animatronics, they look so good. They look even better than they did in the first movie. Now, this applies to both the toys, the Wizards, Balloon Boy, the puppet, all of it. It looks a chef's kiss. And the acting, again, still really good acting. I can definitely tell, I think it's even better than the first one, because I can tell that, Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lael, Pepper Rubio, everybody is, kind of getting more and more comfortable into their roles in the franchise. And, yeah, Matthew Lillard to an extent, actually, no, not to an extent, he did phenomenal. Fun fact, I actually have a friend who gets to meet Matthew Lillard, this weekend, which I'm super jealous for. I hope, if you're watching this, please mention me in some way. I need to know Matthew Lillard knows I exist. Tell him, he did an incredible job in both the FNAF movies and the Scream movies and whatever. Anyway, yeah, Matthew Lillard was incredible in this movie. He only really showed up, no, he did only show up through flashbacks, which that's kind of unfortunate. He wasn't actually in the movie. He was definitely heavily referenced in the movie. Like, Matthew Lillard keeps saying in interviews that William Afton is like the Voldemort of this franchise, and I rewatched a Harry Potter movie or two, and I realized that Voldemort, it really only shows up briefly in some of the Harry Potter movies. I haven't read the book, so I wouldn't know, like, the book lore. But yeah, until he actually becomes a super big threat later on, which I think they're definitely doing that with William Afton. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see more of William Afton in the future, because, I mean, if you know the games, then you know Springtrap's gonna show up at some point. Unfortunately, it's not get teased in this movie. Like, that's crazy to me how Springtrap wasn't teased in this movie. I'm not gonna get no spoilers, but yeah, Springtrap not teased in this movie. Anyway, yeah, the acting was peak. Okay, now time to talk about some of the negatives. To start, I have much more positives, but we'll get to that later. Actually, no, let's finish on the positives. Screw it. I talked about the animatronics, talked about the acting, I talked about the set design. Now we're going to talk about the fact that Mike actually played FNAF. Now, granted, it only happened for a very brief amount of time, and it happened very shortly. But he actually played FNAF and not just look at security cameras. Thank God, because basically you saw in the trailer that there was one part where he had to put on the Freddy mask. And, against the Withered animatronics, which, yeah, that was done greatly, like, with the flashlight and all that. However, the music box wasn't used, but, like, that gets explained in the movie. You'll see what happens there. Anyway, also, I have to talk about the credits. There's credits, all of it. All of the credits. The credits were peak. Like, the music that they use at the end of the credits, they don't. Slight negative, they don't use Living Tombstones. It's been so long, unfortunately. So, you know, that kind of, I don't know. I would have preferred, I am very happy with the music they went with. Like, they didn't use, like, a lyric song, but they came up with, like, an original score. Fire original score, by the way. Oh my god. That's why I'm not too disappointed that they didn't use the Living Tombstones. It's been so long, because they came up with a fire score. But yeah, also the post-credit scene this time, stay for it. The post-credit scene in the first FNAF movie, it was, you know, just Corey Kenji getting jump scared by Balloon Boy. That was kind of used as a joke. This post-credit scene, very, very important. Like, I know I said I didn't see Springtrap. Oh well. But you'll want to stay. It definitely teases the sequel. Anyway, another thing, the voice acting in this movie, I was actually surprised. Also, back to the credits. There is something that happened. There are two post-credit scenes. Well, kind of. There's a post-credit scene, and then there's something else that happens after the credits. Like, similar to what happened with the first FNAF movie, how they had the puppet kind of spell out the words "Come find me." If you know what I mean, with the first movie. But the second movie, yeah, they do something similar after the post-credit scene. So just stick around for that. Another thing, the voice acting was actually surprisingly really good. Like, obviously I knew MatPat and Killing Goff would knock it out of the park, and yeah, they did. But I want to talk about Megan Fox. I was surprised how good Megan Fox actually did in this movie. I watched the first Transformers movie. It sucks, and I love it. Her acting was just so bad. Like, she's not like an NPC. Like, I get it was her first acting job, but like, they could have cast anyone else. Come on, Michael Bay. Like, outside Ninja Turtles, Mortal Kombat, you know, Megan Fox is just straight up a bad actress. I'm just going to say that. But she actually did surprisingly well in this movie. I didn't hear just Megan Fox talking. I heard Toy Chica. Now, obviously, they put on voice filters for all three, Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica. But, like, yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised with Megan Fox's voice acting. Another thing, the voice acting for Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie. Toy Freddy, Kellen Goff did incredible. I'm honestly kind of surprised that they didn't go with like a higher voice for Toy Freddy. Now, obviously, I don't think that's Kellen Goff's fault, because I'm sure he did do takes where he did the Toy Freddy, where he tried to replicate Toy Freddy's voice from Ultimate Custom Night. But like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. Toy Freddy in this movie sounds exactly like Glam Rock Freddy. Like, it is like scary how similar these two sound in this movie. Now, granted, again, it is Kellen Goff, same voice actor and everything, but like, I feel like how do I say this nicely? Now, this isn't Kellen Goff's fault. He did an incredible job, obviously, but I feel like this is kind of the producer's fault. Like, you know, no hate to them or anything, but like, I really would have preferred if they told Kellen Goff to, like, you know, or if they went with the takes where Kellen Goff was doing the Toy Freddy voice, because like, same with MatPat as Toy Bonnie. Now, he did an incredible job again, but it sounds nothing like MatPat. Like, we don't hear Toy Bonnie talk at all through the series, so obviously he kind of had to freeball it, and he definitely did. It sounded like a girl. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that barely sounded like MatPat. Obviously, again, filters, but, like, I don't know. I would have liked it if it sounded a little more like MatPat. However, I do like, at the end of the day, that, it wasn't just, MatPat going, "Hello, Internet, welcome to Game Theory," or however he says it, but I can't do the voice, whatever. Same thing with Killing Off. I just wish they went with another take, but you know what? I'm still happy with the Toy Freddy voice that we got, if it was Glamrock Freddy, but whatever. Also, another thing, there was only one dream sequence in this baby. Woohoo! Now, the dream sequence, it gets explained in the context of the movie. It's not, like, poorly made, not, like, poorly done, like it was in the first one. It gets explained. I won't spoil what happens exactly, but, like, if you see, it happens in the trailer. Whatever. Anyway, you'll see it. If you see the movie, you'll know what I mean. But also, they actually make fun of the fact that, Mike slept too much in the first movie. Like there's a scene where Vanessa and Mike are on a date, and then Mike talks about how he, slept to get through Gary. He goes, "Yeah, I admit I slept a lot." I'm like, yeah, you did, Mike, whatever. Anyway, also, the opening scene of this movie, oh my gosh, this was fire. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but oh my, I was blown away with how insane and intense that was. Like, oh my god, and it gave kind of a good motive to the puppet, but we'll talk about the puppet later on. Puppet was a bit of a mess, in my opinion. We'll talk about it in a minute. One thing I want to talk about. No, I won't spoil anything about this, but the cameos in this movie. I thought Daco was insane for thinking that the cameos in this movie were better than the ones in the first one, because, first one we got Sparky the Dog, Shadow Freddy, not Markiplier, sorry, Corey Kenshin, MatPat. I mean, MatPat's in the sequel, we all know that already, but you know what I mean. I thought Daco was crazy for saying some of those Easter eggs were better than the first one. They were definitely better. Like, literally in the opening scene, I, screamed, "Oh my god, it's that thing!" I'm not gonna say, what it is, but, it's kind of like a blink and you'll miss it. It's not an animatronic. You just gotta look really hard. You'll know it when you see it. If you know, this is kind of like an if you know, you know, kind of thing. Same thing with the cameos later in this movie. Oh my, there was one where I was just blown away that, they were in, because I'll say this much, there is a YouTuber cameo in this movie. I was blown away by the fact that they were in it, and yeah, unfortunately, Markiplier wasn't in this movie. I don't understand why Markiplier wasn't in this movie. Like, please, FNAF 3, this is your last chance. Also, a cameo from the first movie. Well, actually, no, several cameos from the first movie kind of happened. I'm not just talking about the fact that Jeremiah's back. Jeremiah is the security guard that worked with Mike at the mall when he was a mall cop, kind of. That guy's in this movie. He's kind of a more important character in this movie. Kind of. He's not relevant to the plot per se, but yeah, he's definitely there. He's pretty sure they actually established that he's Mike's best friend now, which is I liked. But yeah, there are characters in this movie that were in the first movie as well, and if you know, you know. And again, this part kind of comes as a positive and a negative, but this movie was incredible for the fans, and really that's about it. I talked about this earlier. People, we just got to accept that, unfortunately, this movie, they don't really focus on being good, which I'm okay with, because I'm like, look at this, I'm a big FNAF fan. Oh, there's Walter. See, look at that, there's a security breach poster over there. I got Spring Bonnie over here. I got Pat, hold on. Look at this guy. I got Pat over here from U2's. I got Spring Bonnie from U2's. Look at that. I'm a big FNAF fan. I got Foxy and Bonnie over here. I got like 20 plushies over there. I got one on my bed right now. I have my FNAF movie shirt on, actually. Hold on. Can y'all see it? Good enough. Anyway, yeah, I'm a big FNAF fan. I love this movie as a FNAF fan, but I can understand why some people don't. But yeah, and again, I said this is better than the original, for sure. And I think that they had some very fun and wild things with the animatronics leaving. Like, that was made obvious from the trailers at the start, that, the animatronics, they're leaving the building. I don't feel like they should keep doing that. I feel like that should be kind of a one and done event, if you know what I mean. Because, like, I don't want, I talked about this in my FNAF 1 movie review, how I don't really love how FNAF has dropped the whole Five Nights part of the franchise and just focuses on one night like any other horror game. Like, then it would just be kind of silly. Like, I don't want I don't want, like, I don't know, circus baby roaming the streets or anything. I mean, I know she technically does with Ennard in the games, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I don't want, like, base circus baby running around, and, like, I don't want Glenrock Freddy running around going from house to house saying, Gregory, you need to vent, or whatever. You know what I'm saying. You know, this should be just a one-and-done thing. It was cool when it happened, but, like, let's not keep pushing it. Also, very much a positive here. I don't know why I put this under the cons. There was a very suspicious amount of Toy Chica in this movie. Anyway, okay, now, unfortunately, I have to talk about some of the cons, and yeah, there are quite a few, but I think the positives are enough to say it's better than the original. Some of the stuff with the puppet does not make sense. Like, there's some images that Scott Cawthon, I'm pretty sure, dropped, from, like, some behind-the-scenes photos, you know, nothing too spoilery. There was one with McKenna Grace as the puppet. Also, McKenna Grace in this movie did a great job. She's actually in it a lot more than I thought. I thought she would just show up, get killed by the puppet, and that's about it. But no, she's in this movie a lot more. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, something they do with the puppet in this movie, like, I don't know how to say this without going spoilery, but if you saw that image of McKenna Grace with, like, the puppet makeup on, you kind of know what you're getting yourself into, and I don't know, I'm not a big fan of what they did with the puppet, I'm not gonna lie. Like, obviously the lore of the puppet with, like, Charlie, Emily, and stuff, all that was done great, don't get me wrong. But, like, I don't know, a lot of it didn't make a lot of sense at all. And also, there's a mystery character in this movie. If you saw, a while back, there's somebody played by Freddy Carter, how, you know, he's kind of a security guard. Everyone assumed it was Jeremy Fitzgerald. I'm here to say it is not Jeremy Fitzgerald, believe it or not, but it is actually a mystery character. Again, it kind of gets revealed at the end. He shows up at the beginning, and he shows up at the very end, and it's kind of revealed who this person is. I really wanted him to be in this movie more. Like, it felt exactly like William Afton. Like, William Afton shows up at the beginning, gives Mike the job, dips, and then shows up at the end. I really wanted more William Afton in that movie. Same thing here. I wanted more Freddy Carter's character in this movie. Like, obviously we know from the start who he is kind of from, the Ghost Hunters. You know, with McKenna Grace and all those people. But, like, I really wanted more of that guy. He seemed like such an interesting character. He is such an interesting character. I should say he is an interesting character. I don't expect him to be like Michael Afton or Edwin or anything too crazy, but yeah, anyway, it is definitely an interesting character. But he could have been, he was a good character, he could have been great, is what I'm saying. And I feel like the runtime of this movie being an hour and 45 minutes, that kind of hurts the pacing of this movie. I really wanted this to be longer. Because, like, my friend Dark Crusher mentioned that it kind of felt underwhelming. Like, you know, the movie was a bit too fast-paced. I definitely agree. Like, it definitely needs a pacing check. And also, the Wizards. You know how I said that Mike defends the Wizards off by playing FNAF 2? Unfortunately, that's all the Wizards do in this movie. Like, I'm kind of disappointed with how they use the Wizards, you know? I really wanted more of the Wizards. Like, it's all about the toys, I get it. And the Wizards, they weren't too advertised as being a big part of this movie. But, like, they definitely should have been. The Wizards are, in the FNAF 2 lore, are much more interesting characters than the toys, in my opinion. In the FNAF 2 game and lore and everything. But, yeah, unfortunately, they, obviously the stuff with the toy I'm talking is still great. But I would have really wanted, like, a lot more of the Wizards. And the scenes that we got with them are great. Also, Garrett. Garrett was such a huge plot point of the first movie, but, like, it's barely mentioned. Now, it's kind of established in this movie that Mike has moved on from hunting down Garrett and, you know, trying to save him or anything, because he's kind of accepted that, you know, Garrett's dead, he has to move on and all that. But, like, he's still very much relevant to the plot of the story. Of the lore, really. Like, I have a theory that Garrett might be the crying child, to an extent. Like, maybe William Afton kidnapped him, tested him. You know, FNAF 4 might have happened with Garrett being the crying child, and that could have been the prequel. Maybe? Like, maybe a prequel movie about FNAF 4, how he tested on Garrett, and Garrett's the main character. And maybe Michael Afton, they can throw Michael Afton in there. I'm not really sure how they'd throw Michael Afton in there, but, you know, it's a bit confusing, but, yeah, anyway. That's a theory for another time. Anyway, yeah, Garrett barely mentioned this movie. Now, Mike did mention how he's moved on in this movie. He flat out says, you know, he's moved on from Garrett, but, like, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of feels, he's such an interesting character, an important character. Like, I feel like we need more of him. Another thing, William Afton, the scenes that we got with him were great. I really wanted more flashbacks with William Afton. This movie had maybe a little more William Afton than they did with the first movie. I might just be saying that because of how well William Afton was used in this movie and how much better he was. Like, he is, like, there is no Steve Raglan. He is not playing around in this movie. He is full out, like, he is William Aftoning the whole time that he's in this movie. But he's barely in this movie, which kind of hurts, you know? Also, the ending of this movie, like, how this movie ends is kind of underwhelming. Now, I think what they're trying to do is have FNAF 2 and FNAF 3 kind of be a part 2 and part 1 and part 2 of each other with, ending on a cliffhanger, which they ended on a big old cliffhanger, which I thought was kind of wild. But, yeah, I feel like it just kind of felt empty, like, too many unanswered questions. Also, along with the post-credit scene, like, they're I don't know how they're going to work with FNAF 3 of connecting all of these things together. Like, it's going to be a mix of FNAF 2 and whatever game they're going with the next game. I know because I watched the movie, obviously, but I'm not going to tell you what game they're going to base it off of. But, yeah, anyway. Also, there's not enough time spent in the pizzeria. Obviously, I know one of the big marketing things of this movie and the biggest part of this movie is that the animatronics just left the pizzeria, which I thought was cool. But, like, I would have liked a little more time in the pizzeria, you know? Like, obviously, it is, a lot of it is spent, like, a lot of the time that we're spent in the pizzeria is spent downstairs in the basement with the puppet. Like, I know the puppet is, like, the most important part of this movie. But, like, there's more pizzeria than just puppet, obviously. Like, we barely spend time with the Withers. We also barely spend time, good lord, with Balloon Boy, which I'm not complaining too much about because I cannot stand Balloon Boy. But at the same time, like, their characters in this movie, they got you know, they should have their time to shine. They did, but, like, not nearly as much as the toy animatronics. Plus, also, this movie needed more of Henry Emily. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We all know that Skeet Ulrich is playing Henry Emily. It got leaked a while back. Yes, Skeet Ulrich is Henry Emily. We barely get to know, we know little to nothing about Henry. Other than, you know, he was William Afton's business partner, and he was Charlie's dad. That's literally about it. Unfortunately, yeah, there wasn't enough Henry in this movie. Like, he had like one scene, and that's literally it. Like, unfortunately, I really wanted more Henry in this movie. And also, another thing, it's incredible for fans, no one else. So, yeah, that kind of sums up my discussion for this movie. So, yes, there are a lot of cons, but overall, I still think it's a really great movie based on the positives I said above. But, yeah, I'm gonna give this movie, so, yeah, there are pros, there are cons. It's definitely not perfect. I can't accept that as a FNAF fan, that there are definitely big plot points, some big plot holes and plot points that are, like, a bit iffy with the puppet, and I can't say too much without going into spoilers. So yeah, if you're a FNAF fan, please check out this movie. You're going to love it. If you're not a FNAF fan, I'd skip this one. Or, like, watch it on streaming when it comes to streaming eventually. If you're curious. Because, like, I don't think you're going to love it nearly as much if you're not a FNAF fan. And you know what? That's okay. I'm sure you guys understand that this is made for the fans and not really for the general public, but that's okay. So yeah, overall, I'm saying this as a FNAF fan, and my FNAF bias is definitely getting to me. More than my critic bias. Plus, I went with, like, a bunch of friends, so there's also that. I'm going to give this movie, on the critically insane score, a 6 out of 7. Or, if you're a normal person, that is an 8 out of 10. So, yeah, overall, I really liked the movie. I thought it was great, as a FNAF fan. But as a regular, average Joe on the street going to watch a movie and sees Five Nights at Freddy's and says, sure, why not? Yeah, you'd be very lost. You'd be very confused. There's a lot of stuff that you need to be a fan to explain. But, yeah, I cannot wait for the FNAF 3. Like, this movie, this cliffhanger is, whenever FNAF 3 comes out, that will be my most anticipated movie of the year. It'll be more anticipated than Sonic 4, than Secret Wars, than the Batman Part 2, Beyond the Spider-Verse even, if it comes out in 2027. If it comes out in 2028, sorry, Shadow the Hedgehog movie, or whatever that movie is, FNAF first. So, yeah. Please like, subscribe if you enjoyed. I hope if you saw the movie, let me know your thoughts without going into spoilers, or I will not be very happy, because, you know, again, spoiler free. Guys, this is Editing Emerald here, editing it from bed. Now, I'm not going to sleep or anything, don't worry. But another thing I wanted to add, my audience for this movie was insane. Like, possibly on par with Sonic 3. Like, I ran into some friends there, which I kind of blew my mind. When any Easter egg happened, everyone started cheering. Like, there is one part in this movie, I won't spoil, with that happened to the Toys animatronics, that toward the end, that got everybody just started cheering like it was an Avengers movie. Like, it was absolutely insane, the audience. So, yeah, sorry for the fake out ending, but yeah, now I will see you in the next one. Take care.